At this place in history, we're in St. Albans with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. What are we doing here?
So Amanda, we're going to be talking about railroads today. Of course, St. Albans and railroads are somewhat synonymous, so we're going to meet with Alex Lenning, who's the director of the St. Albans Museum, and Denise Smith, who has helped out with some projects around town.
So the Central Vermont Railway is interesting. It was sort of started by the Smith family. There was a series of regional railroads in the 1860s that formed in the 1870s the Central Vermont Railway. It was the biggest employer here in St. Albans. There were thousands of workers. 23 tracks. Now we have one here downtown. There was the building behind us, which was the administrative headquarters. There was a switch yard, a repair yard, and other facilities, so they actually could build their own parts for the cars here, as well as send them north to Canada or back towards New England and the rest of the U.S.
When we think of Vermont today, we think of, small towns and small cities, but the Central Vermont Railroad was not just St. Albans. It really had national and international reach.
Absolutely. So the railroad stretched from New York to Canada and had connections even going farther out west. So it operated in 4 states at its height. Again, it was really known for connecting St. Albans to the rest of the world, getting products and dairy and things to Canada or to Boston. There was actually a CVR pier in New York City. Even transatlantic trade and getting things from ship to shore to train to the rest of the U.S. was possible because of the reach of this company and because of the influence of the Smith family and the way they were able to build alliances, collaborations, and leases with other regional railroads that really turned the CVR into a rail powerhouse. At one time, it was the 7th largest railroad in the entire country.
So who was the most famous Smith family member, if we were to know a name?
Gregory Smith is probably the one that jumps out. So the Smith family is certainly synonymous with St. Albans. We're nicknamed the Rail City for a reason. So I mentioned those regional railroads earlier, and the Smith brothers were the first 2 presidents of the regional ones. Gregory Smith became the president of the Central Vermont Railroad when it was founded here. So he was a philanthropist, he was an entrepreneur, he was involved in 7 or 8 businesses. He was involved in the creation of the library, and somebody who also served in the state senate, the state house, and as our governor during the Civil War. But, when you think about the impact on the community and what he and his family contributed, that's certainly the name that would come to mind first for me.
Denise, in the past you were working for a watershed group, and the Lake Champlain Basin program provided funds to put signage around town to talk about the railroads, and you did some focusing on the Smith family. Can you tell us a bit about them and how they were involved?
One of the things that we firmly believe is if people don't know about a place, they won't protect a place. The project really focused on 3 historic sites down in St. Albans, and the railroad being one of them. This massive tunnel, the railroad tunnel, used to be here, and it was a structure that I've seen only photos of. And so we really wanted to make a historic display that would highlight some of the historic buildings that were part of our community. And working with the museum and all of their incredible resources, we put together 3 panels, one of them which is on the railroad building and the Smith family. And the theme was the Smith family throughout all 3 of this. The reason for that was because of their influence on this community and in the built infrastructure that we now are so proud to have. And protecting these iconic buildings in our community has been very important to the nature of place of our community.
At this place in history,